Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tanya Batra. I'm RCI Registered Special Educator, and this is my YouTube channel, Tanya Batra Learning Support Educator. I request everybody to please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for all the updates. And for sure, you can also put your suggestions, your feedback in the comment section below. So let's start. In today's session, we are going to talk about differentiated instructions. This topic is quite important for special educators who are working in inclusive schools, who are working with children with and without disabilities in an inclusive setup. And definitely, this topic is going to tell you about several strategies that you can use for children with special needs or for teaching various concepts in an inclusive classroom. So let's start. If you're having any doubts or if you have any concerns, definitely you can put it in the chat box or in the comment section below. And everybody, I request not to forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon and keep on sharing the videos, keep on spreading the message about inclusive education and all the strategies that we can use in an inclusive classroom. Thank you so much for all your support, for all your likes, for subscribing to my channel. And for sure, if you need me to post any video on any particular topic, you can drop me a message. You can put it in the comment section, and I will be waiting for your feedback for sure. Thank you so much, everybody. So let's proceed with today's topic, that is on differentiated instructions. Now, as the term says, differentiated instruction, in this session, we will understand about what do we mean by differentiated instruction, basic principles of differentiating the instructions that can be classified into three areas, that is content, process, and product, so that we can cater to diverse needs in the classroom. Okay, you will be also studying about, you can, second, we will also discuss about some of the strategies, one or more important instruction strategies that can support in differentiating instructions, in differentiation of instructions. Okay. Now, as we know, students come to our classroom with a variety of learning styles, yes, personal experiences, motivators, readiness, and interest, readiness level and interest. We all are aware that students coming into our classroom, they are belonging to a diverse community and they are carrying their own personal interests, they are carrying their own personal um, experiences, their educational experiences are different, their learning styles are different, their current level, they're able to recall the information, everything is different. As today also in our classroom, we believe that no one size fits all. So we also believe that one of the teaching strategy cannot be applicable on all the students, on all the learners in the class. Yes, so this is absolutely true. Unfortunately, some classroom structures do not address the student diversity. Yes, so this is absolutely, in some of the cases, it's true that till date, many of the classrooms are not catering to the diverse needs, are not addressing the different levels, not addressing to the different learning styles of the students in the classes. The biggest mistake of past centuries in teaching has been to treat all children as if they were variants of same individual, and thus to feel justified in teaching them and all the same subjects in the same way. This is given by Howard Gardner. So in past centuries, the teaching was done just with this consideration, with this one viewpoint that all the children are belonging of the same individual, are the variants of the same individual, and because of which the teaching was given in the same way. of all the subjects, the teaching to all the students were given in the same way, and it was not at all differentiated, it was not at all modified. The classroom structure was not adapted according to the needs of the learners in the classes. Yes, so this was the perspective, but nowadays, gradually, this perception is changing. I can definitely, with my experiences, also I can say in many of the schools have started adapting differentiation, the concept of differentiation, concept of addressing to the diverse needs of the learners in the classroom. They have started thinking about this, and they have started changing their teaching methods. In one classroom, they have started teaching in diverse styles so that they can cater to the diverse learning styles of the learners. Okay. Let's take a look at the instructional strategies we typically use in our classroom and see how they affect our students' memory. So now, if you are watching this video and if you're listening to me, just I will give you a moment to just note down the strategies which we typically use in our classrooms, okay? Or you have seen other educators using in their classroom. So just you can pen down and you can also put it in the comment section in the chat box. What do you think? Which all are the common strategies that teachers use for teaching several topics in their classes? Yes. So I'm just giving you a minute to just write down the strategies that most probably you will see the teachers are using in their classrooms. And if you're watching this video, it would be great if you can just put it in the comment section. You can put it in the chat box and also share it with me, which all strategies you feel that yes, teachers are typically using in their classroom for teaching several subjects and to see how they affect our students' memory retention rate. Okay, great. So when we talk about effective instructional strategies, this is basically a pyramid that will define that which is least effective to most effective. Okay, rank the strategies on the right of the pyramid from least effective, top of the pyramid, to the most effective, that is the bottom of the pyramid. Whatever strategies we have penned down, which we have written down, which we have noted down on the sheet of paper, just give it a rank. Okay, what do you think? Which strategy should fall on the top of the pyramid that can be least effective or less than least effective to a one below level? Okay, and which of the strategies that you have listed down should have the category of most effective? Okay, practice by doing demonstration, teach another audio visuals, discussion, reading lectures. Okay, so try to guess the percentage of information a typical student may retain for each. So, which of the strategies you feel like that this is the strategy the learner will be able to retain much more information, and this is the strategy which teachers use and will definitely will not help the learner to retain the information. Okay? So whatever strategies you have listed down, you can classify into these two categories, least effective and most effective, and you can draw this pyramid and find out the that yes, this strategy will definitely help the learner to retain more information, and this strategy will least be least effective for the learner to retain, to memorize, to understand the concept. Okay. Now, let's go at some of the effective instruction strategies, and it's already mentioned here that these are some of the common strategies if we use in our classroom, and which will be belonging to least effective and which will be belonging to most effective areas. Now, lecture. Lecture is considered as least effective strategy for teaching, for delivering our instruction. And according to me, lecture is still commonly used, yes, in many of the classrooms. So you can see it just catered to 5% of learners who are, and you can see only the 5% effectiveness is there of this particular instruction strategy, and the learner can you can understand for sure that how much the learner will be able to understand. Okay. Now, reading, it includes only 10% effectiveness. Okay. There is only 10% of effectiveness when we are talking about reading. Audio visual aids cater to 20%, demonstration 30%, discussion 50%, practice by doing 75%, and teaching others. Immediate use of learning, real life application, hands-on activities. It caters to 95% of effectiveness when we are talking about this category of instructional strategy. So this entire pyramid talks a lot and gives us the clear image that which strategy is more effective in the classroom and definitely which strategy will be least effective in our classroom. So now you have a classroom of diverse learners, and you know that some of our past teaching strategies are not going to be effective, such as lecture teaching strategy. Yes. So the $1 million question is, how do you successfully meet the needs of diverse learners in your classroom? Definitely. If you're attending this session, if you're listening to this video, if you are paying attention to what we are talking about, I can say that yes, you are keen interested to cater to the diverse learners, to cater to the needs of diverse learners in your classroom. That's the reason you're here and you're listening to me. So now let's move further and understand, try to gather the details, try to gather the information that how can we successfully meet the needs of diverse learners in our classroom. We can help the different learners in our classroom to understand the concept, to retain the information for longer duration. Okay. Differentiation, differentiating instruction, differentiated instructions. Let's talk about this in detail now. Differentiated instructions, a set of unique decisions that the educator makes to bring learning within the grasp of all students. So basically, the teacher is planning the instructions in several ways so that she is able to help all the learners in her classroom to understand the information, to understand the concept that she is teaching. Okay. This includes students who are working on grade level, below grade level, for those students working above grade level. So in your classroom, there will be learners belonging to these three categories. Okay. The one who are who are having the current level according to the grade level. Okay. Who are having the current level below their grade level, and who are having the current level which is above the grade level. Okay. So there will be these three categories of learners in your class. Differentiated instructions help the educator, help the teacher to plan our instructions which cater to all of these three categories of the learners in the class. जब हम अपनी instructions को अलग अलग तरीके में plan करते हैं, when we plan our instructions into different ways, so that all the learners belonging to these three categories can understand the concept. This is known as differentiated instructions. Okay. So yes, this is a thoughtful process. Do you agree? If yes, show me a thumbs up, put it in the comment section or in the chat. Great. Let's move further. Differentiation is providing avenues to acquire content, process ideas, and develop products. So these are three categories in which differentiation belongs to or really lies into: content, process, product. These three are the areas of differentiation in which we have to bring to. Okay. So we provide various ways to learners to acquire, understand the content, to process the ideas, the information that we have given, to process it, to understand it, and to develop products. Develop products basically to evaluate, okay, to show what you have understood. So we are providing, a teacher, an educator provides several ways in which the learner can learn Learner can understand and learner can tell that how much he has understood the concept. जब हम अलग अलग methods use करते हैं इन तीनों areas में, this is known as differentiation and a means to provide multiple options for taking in and making sense of information. Okay, कि कैसे मैं उस इंफॉर्मेशन को समझ सकता हूँ, तो उसके हम सेवरल वेज मेथड्स प्रोवाइड करते हैं एंड हाउ टू मेक सेंस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, हाउ टू अंडरस्टैंड, हाउ टू ब्रिंग अ लॉजिक टू इंफॉर्मेशन, प्रोवाइडिंग मल्टीपल ऑप्शंस फॉर दिस इज नोन एज डिफरेंशिएशन. Differentiation is always also means as also is known as a means of expressing learning. How much I have understood in this class, I can depict it in my own ways. So providing different ways to the learner to express their understanding, this is differentiation. Okay. Differentiation is the entire model that replicates UDL, Universal Design for Learning. I will definitely make a detailed video and have a session on UDL in which we will be talking about three main principles of UDL, and you will see that these three principles of differentiation is also the part of UDL, okay, Universal Design for Learning. Okay, so coming back to differentiation again, I hope this is clear to everyone. Now, what are the principles of a differentiated classroom? All students can participate. Yes, for sure. Even if there is a VI learner in your class, he or she can participate. Okay. Teacher and students work together. One second. Teacher and students can work together to ensure continual engagement and challenge. The teacher coordinates use of time, space, and activities. You can use the space, you can use the time, you can use the activities. All of these three things are being coordinated and being well managed so that we can encourage the participation from all the learners. Flexible grouping, which includes whole class learning, pairs, student selected group, teacher selected groups, and random. So grouping is also one of the strategy of differentiated instructions. Time use is flexible in response to student needs. How you're using the time. Again, it's flexible so that we can allow all the learners in our classroom to respond, to make us understand how much you have understood. A variety of management strategies, clarity established, individual and group criteria. Students are assessed in variety of ways. There is no single method. We don't use one single method to assess, to evaluate the learner. We use several methods to assess, to evaluate the learner and give them the opportunity to demonstrate their learning, to demonstrate their understanding. Now, this is the basically a difference between a traditional classroom and a differentiated classroom. So if your goal is to achieve differentiated classroom setup, definitely you can follow these principles, you can understand the strategies, you can implement these strategies in your classroom while teaching several subjects. So traditional classroom differences are acted upon when problematic. Traditional classroom focuses that we are focusing on differences, we are focusing on different methods when the situation is problematic. Okay. But on the other hand, when we are talking about differentiated classroom, we do not wait for the problem to arise. Differences are studied as a basis for planning. In every classroom, there will be a differentiation. In every subject teaching, there will be differentiated instruction. They do not wait for problems. They do not wait for problem to arise and then we will act on differentiation. No. Okay. Traditional classroom assessment is most common and they focus on who got it. But assessment in differentiated classroom will focus upon how to encourage the student to tell, make, express their understanding. Okay. In this assessment is ongoing, diagnostic to make instructions more responsive to learners' need. A relatively narrow sense in traditional classroom and differentiated classroom focuses on multiple forms of intelligence, multiple intelligences. Okay. Traditional classroom coverage of curriculum guides, drives in instruction. Differentiated classroom, they focus on student readiness, interest, and learning profile that shape the instruction. Okay. Traditional classroom, whole class instructions. Differentiated classroom, many instructional arrangements are used. Instructions, many instructional arrangements means many form of instructions are planned so that they can be delivered in the classroom and all the learners in the classroom can understand the concept with the help of those different instructions. Okay. A single text prevails, multiple materials are provided in differentiated classroom and only a single text or one method of teaching, one instructions, one category of materials are being used in traditional classrooms. Okay. So this was the difference. Now jumping on to the next slide. Differentiation of instructions is a teacher's response to learners' need. Very important. When we are talking about differentiation of instruction, it means a teacher is responding, is reacting, is helping the learners and focusing on the learner's need guided by general principles of differentiation. So these are the three principles of differentiation. Respectful task. Respectful task means you are assigning the task which is catering to all the needs of the learners. Okay. Like for an example, if there is a child with dyslexia in your classroom who is having difficulty to read, and if the teacher is saying, pointing out the child, okay, come on, get up and start reading the text that is being shown, it means that is not a respectful task. You can encourage the child to read the words. You can encourage peer buddy. You can encourage the child, okay, now to match the words or to tell me which all words fit properly. So this how we are encouraging respectful task which is catering to the needs, strengths, concerns of the learners. Okay. Flexible grouping means it's not necessary in one classroom you have made a certain group in all the classes, the same group is being followed. No, you can change the groups and how you can encourage grouping that also we will discuss further. Ongoing assessment and adjustments, ways to differentiate. कौन से एरियाज में आप डिफरेंशिएशन को इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं. Number one, the content, process, and product. Content matlab the material that you are going to teach in the class. Usme differentiation ho sakta hai. Process, how you are going to teach in your class, what steps are going to be there. We can bring differentiation in those steps. And product, how you're going to evaluate the understanding of the learners. That evaluation can also include the differentiation. Then according to students, readiness level, interest, and learning profile. In तीनों categories के according, we can bring differentiations in our classroom. Okay. Next, ways to differentiate in the content, what is being taught, which material you are using, process, how it is taught, and product, how the learning is evaluated, how the learning is being assessed. Now, according to students' readiness level, refers to the readiness for a given skill. How much the child is ready for that topic. How much the child is ready for that grade level. So, readiness level refers to a range of abilities that help them to transition into school and prepare for classroom challenges. Okay, like for an example, if you want to teach the concept of plants, but are they aware what plants are? They have, do the learners have that real life exposure of plants? Okay, so understanding, is the child ready for that class? That concludes as readiness level. Interest and attitude have to do with those things that learners find relevant, fascinating, or worthy of their time. Okay, so catering to the interests, catering to the attitudes of the learners. Learning profile and need refers to the learning style, intelligence preferences, how the student processes information, how the learner sees himself in relation to the rest of the world. So understanding the learning profile, that how the child learns, how the child memorizes, how the child understands the concept, how does the child understand this information? Okay, how do he himself see himself in relation with the other rest of the world? So understanding his interest, understanding his profile, understanding his multiple intelligence, learning style, understanding his readiness level is very necessary for planning our instructions, for bringing differentiation in our instructions. Okay. Now, strategies for differentiation. Differentiation can include complex strategies like writing tailored lesson plans, then second, or it can take a more simplistic form, such as reading buddies, think pair strategies. Now, below you can see there are some differentiation strategies, higher prep strategies and lower prep strategies. Higher prep strategies basically refers to teacher directed strategies that requires lots of planning, that require importance, that require important planning and um, arrangement of certain things. Okay, that is being included as higher prep strategies. Lower prep strategies basically which can be used immediately, that can be used for immediate intervention. Okay. Higher prep strategies include preparing tiered lessons, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 lesson plans. One lesson plan can be having these three instructions. Okay. Tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 lesson plans. Then flexible grouping, think tap to multiple, think tap to activities, catering to multiple intelligence options, graphic organizers, response or exit cards, which you can use during evaluation, multiple texts. Then lower prep strategies includes reading and study buddies, anchor activities, think, pair, share, choices of books, interest survey, multiple levels of course. We will discuss about that, about all of these in coming slides, not to worry. Okay, 1 second. Now, no prep strategies again. Option to work in pairs, small groups, alone, varied journal prompts, choices of books, option for demonstrating knowledge. High prep activities can be tired activities or products, compacting, tic-tac-toe, learning contracts, interest center. Okay. Now, a closer look. Within the next few slides, definitely the strategies which we have studied right now, which I mentioned in the previous slides, we are going to have a go through of all of those strategies with examples. Okay. Tailored instructions. Provide teachers with a means of assigning different tasks within the same lesson or unit. Now, tailored instruction is basically according to the level of the child, you are preparing or assigning them different tasks. Okay, like if there is ongoing learner, if there is a learner whose current level is according to the grade level, then there are high achievers, then there are low achievers. Okay, so you are planning the instructions according to these learner styles, according to the learners. Okay, like if you will see that there is a learner who is performing a grade level below than the current level, so you're going to plan the instruction differently for that learner. And if there is a gifted learner in your class, then you're going to plan the instructions, which includes little of according to his interest, according to his learning profile, which the instruction can be of little high level. Then a learner who is performing according to the grade level, who is an average performer, okay? Then for that learner, you're going to plan instructions according to his interest or learning profile, okay? Let's move further. So what can be tailored? The content, process, and the product. Assignments can be differentiated. Activities can be differentiated. Homework, centers, experiments, material, assessments, writing prompts. All of these differentiation can be done in all of these areas. Okay. Now planning tailored activity, a four-step method. Identify the key concept. Which skill which you want the learners to understand. सबसे पहले उसको identify करना. Think about the student or use assessment to determine. Understand the readiness level of your learners in the classroom. Understand their interests and understand their profiles. आपको फिर you will get to know their current levels. Okay, that how much the child is ready. What are the interests? What are the learning profiles? So सबसे पहले doing the assessment of that. Then creating an activity on level learners. Basically एक activity design करना which is for that particular grade only. Okay, like if you're catering to If you're thinking about teaching the concept of, let's say, multiplication in grade third, okay? So creating an activity for all the learners who are in grade third, okay? But that activity has to be again interesting, challenging, causing student to use their skills, okay? So use their skills to understand that major idea, okay? Then adjust the activity. After that activity, you will get the baseline, that how much the student is able to perform that activity, who all are the struggling learners, who all are the high able learners, that is the gifted learners. Then adjusting the activity according to the learners. ठीक है, struggling learners के लिए activity अलग से डिजाइन करना, high able learners और gifted learners के लिए अलग से activity डिजाइन करना, and on level learners के लिए जो आपने activity plan करी थी, that is effective. Okay, so adjusting the activity accordingly. Remember, you may not need to adjust the activity if you're differentiating by interest or by the learning profile. However, if you're differentiating by readiness, you will need to adjust for struggling learners and high able learners. Okay. Next, flexible grouping. Grouping is also one of the activity strategy for differentiation. It provides an opportunity for students to work with variety of students through whole group or in many different form of small groups. The key to flexible grouping is the name flexible. Okay. Students have an opportunity to be in different groups, giving an opportunity to the learners to be in different groups and um, uh, present, demonstrate their understanding. Initially use whole group instruction, then divide the group for practice, not use as a permanent arrangement. Use groups for one activity. It can be in a day or it can be in a week. Flexible grouping is the cornerstone of successful differentiated instructions. Clear? Then, how does flexible grouping benefit students? Giving students and teachers a voice in work arrangements, allow the student to work with variety of peers, keep students from being pegged as advanced or struggling. Okay, so yes, flexible grouping really works. Now, grouping membership. Groups can be determined by readiness level. If you're making groups, so you can make groups according to their readiness level. You can make according to their interest, reading level, skill level, background knowledge, and social skills. Okay. Anchor activities. Anchor activities are basically the assignments, the ongoing assignments that students can work on independently throughout a unit or grading period. Okay, जिसमें बच्चा अपने आप independently उन assignments में काम कर सकता है. So these are ongoing assessments, basically ongoing assignments which you are giving to the child, giving to the learner to work on it independently, and in case of any doubts, they can reach out to it. Okay. Brain busters, learning packets, activity box, learning interest centers, vocabulary work, investigation. So these are some of the activities for anchor strategy. Listening station, research questions, commercial kits, journals, silent reading, websites. Okay. The purpose of an anchor activity: provide meaningful work for students when they finish an assignment or a project, when they first enter the class or when they are stumped. Provide the ongoing tasks that tie to the content. Free up the classroom teacher. Free up the classroom teacher to work with other groups of students or individuals. So these are the purposes of an anchor activity. Okay. Exit cards. Basically, exit cards are also known as evaluation cards or ticket outdoors, which are usually used in IB curriculum schools. Yes, when they complete their lesson, when they complete their one session, they encourage such exit cards to understand how much the students have learned. Okay, to gather information on student readiness, interest, learning profiles. They can be used as quick assessment to see what the students are getting. Okay, the teacher hands out index cards to students at the end of the instruction sequence. The teacher reviews the student card responses and separating the cards into instruction groups based on the present criteria. Now, how you can use these exit cards. The teacher asks the student to respond to a predetermined prompt on their index cards and then turn them in as they leave the classroom or transition to another subject. So basically, when the lesson is over, these exit cards are being given and the child is free to inform or free to express their understanding in those index cards, and they are allowed to leave their exit cards on the table and leave for their next class. Okay. Now, exit cards grouping, group one. So when the teacher is preparing these exit cards, these can be divided into these three groups. Group one, students who are struggling with the concept. Group two, student with some understanding of the concept. Group three, students who understood the concept or the skill. So you can divide your exit cards into these three groups. Exit card samples. Explain the difference between simile and metaphor. Give some examples. And the next one is happy as a clam is an example of a circle the correct response. So you can see the differences between both the question, between both the exit card samples. So this how you can plan your exit cards and divide it into these three categories of groups and distribute in your classes. Okay. The main purpose of exit card is to understand how much the learners have understood the topic and also to cater to their readiness level, interest, and their learning profile. Okay. Notice how these exit cards have been differentiated by readiness. Each student is still expected to know about similes and metaphor. We are expecting each child to know about this, but in different ways. But their individual questions are based on their skill level and their degree of knowledge. Okay. Then exit card 3 to 1 summarizer. 3 is revision I can make to improve my draft. 2 resources I can use to help my draft. 1 I really like about my first draft. After reading over my rough draft, so this is basically summarizer that whatever you have understood, summarize it into these 3 steps, 3 to 1. Okay. Then response cards. Response cards are another form of quick assessment. Each student has a card and indicate their understanding of a topic. Response cards increases participation, increase on task behavior, provide immediate feedback. Okay. Just think, if response cards were used instead of hand raising for just 30 minutes per day, each student would make more than 3,700 additional academic responses during the school year. So instead of encouraging the child to raise your hand and tell me the answer, you can encourage response card. And how you can use it, let's see, like this. Basically, whatever the response card, you have the set of questions, you have the set of responses. You have converted those responses into response cards and distributed in your classes. When you will ask the question, you can encourage the child to raise the correct response card, and this how you can evaluate the understanding of the learner. You will evaluate the learners that how much they have understood. So pre-printed, student-made, write on board. These are the 3 categories or types of response card that you can use. Okay. Wonderful activity. Definitely, we all educators can use in our classes. Then comes, 1 second. Think Tactile. Think Tactile boards give choices to students in how they demonstrate their understanding. So you can prepare this Think Tactile and encourage students to choose any one. And in that form, you can you can demonstrate your understanding. Okay. Then cubing. Cubing consists of 6 commands. Like we know that on a cube, there are 6 sides. So on each side, there is a differentiated command with a prompt and which also describe the task that student needs to do. So these cubes can be rolled on the table, and we can encourage the child that whichever side comes on, you can perform the activity, you can demonstrate your understanding in that particular way. Or the child himself can choose which side they want to choose, and after reading the prompt, they can express their understanding. They can do the task that is being mentioned on the cue. So can be used to differentiate activities on the basis of student readiness, can be used to differentiate activity based on students' interest. Okay, so a queue consists of 6 commands, one on each of its 6 phases, followed by a prompt that describes the task the student should do. Cubing helps students to think about the topic from different angle. It is like a game which motivates students. It recognizes large reservoir of knowledge. It satisfies the hunger to do something different. It eliminates boredom and lethargy resulting from unnecessary drill. It also reinforces the learners. Graphic organizers aids comprehension, concept development, and learning, highlights the key vocabulary, provides an organized visual display, focuses attention on key elements, important points of the concept, also integrate prior knowledge with new knowledge. So cause and effect, graphic organizer, planning organizer, a Venn diagram that we can use. Mind mapping, basically understanding different types of one particular concept, construction, application steps, rationale, and converting into a mind map, which can help us to understand different types, which can help us to understand different areas, factors, steps, and many other things. Okay. What else can we do? Here are some more specific strategies. Use cassette recorders, use graphic organizers, flow charts, Venn diagrams. Have students underline or highlight the text. Use texts that are tailored. Use questions that are tailored according to comprehension level. Use Bloom taxonomy. Collect the topic related supplementary materials such as comic books, newspapers, articles. Then, one second. Provide word walls for students, encourage different forms of expressing learning with the help of drawing, acting, poetry, use flexible grouping, peer tutoring, learning buddies, use ongoing assessments of students, use student diaries, learning logs, journals, shorten or lengthen the assignments. This is very important. Rewrite the problems using less or more complex language. Examine your philosophy about individual student needs, how you can get started with the differentiated instruction. First, examine your understanding, your philosophy about individual student needs. Start small, grow slowly, but definitely grow. Envision how an activity will look to all the learners in your classroom. Will it be helpful to all the learners? Will it be catering to the needs of all the learners? Step back and reflect. Talk with your students, take advices, take suggestions from your students, continue to empower your students, continue to be analytical. In my differentiated classroom, everyone should feel welcomed, mutual respected, mutual respect will be non-negotiable. Student will feel physical, mental, and emotional safe. There will be a pervasive expectation of growth. I will teach for success, a new sort of fairness. We will collaborate for mutual growth and success and understanding. So, we are for difference, for respecting difference, for valuing difference, until difference no longer makes a difference. So everyone, I hope you all have understood the concept of differentiated instruction and you will be using these strategies in your inclusive classroom. Thank you everyone. Thank you for listening to me, for a wonderful audience. Again, this is Tanya Batra, Learning Support Educator. I request you all to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon and do share your feedback, do share your suggestions in the chat box in the comment section below. See you in the next video. Thank you everyone.